Ever had a day so bad you wanted to take it out on the creator of the universe? Ever cried out into the cosmos, cursing the immortal being who was made the chosen one? Or been terrorized by a nightmarish eldritch outer being and wished that, just once, the shoe could be on the other foot? If you answered yes to any of those questions, you're in luck. Video games are here to fulfill all your god-gutting and demiurge-dicing desires. Nothing makes a player feel smaller than going toe-to-toe with a literal deity of destruction, and nothing makes them feel stronger than cutting said deity down to size. Just to be clear, the gods we'll be discussing today are primarily of the completely made-up variety, but with just a handful from ye pantheons of old thrown in for good measure. Also, as most of the gods in question take the form of their game's primary antagonist and or final boss, do be aware of spoilers for the games you see on screen. I'm the omniscient Ashton from TripleJump, and here are 10 video games where you get to kill a god. Number 10, Xenoblade Chronicles. Like the classic meme, Xenoblade Chronicles starts with the main protagonist, Shulk, being attacked by an angry hermit crab, and ends with him killing a literal god. But then again, that's par for the course in the Xenoblade saga. The game is, after all, set atop the shoulders of two fallen gods who killed each other in a battle that lasted eons. With a sprawling open world to explore, a unique real-time action-based combat system that allows players to pick off enemies with both style and strategy, and a story filled with exciting twists and turns, it's no wonder Chronicles is beloved by fans and critics alike. Part of the reason is in the way it really makes you care about its characters and world. So, when both are threatened by the vain and pompous god Zanza, who claims dominion over all things and wishes to remake the universe in his own image, you're really motivated to fight back. Acting as the final boss of the game, Zanza must be defeated 3 times in order to claim victory, with each form gaining power and new attacks. While this is intended to be a challenging fight, grinding side missions first can make him a cakewalk. Shulk then ends the battle by slicing Zanza in half. Puny god. Number 9, Octopath Traveler. With its gorgeous 2.5D visuals and iconic turn-based battle system, Octopath Traveler is a love letter to SNES RPGs of old. Therefore, it simply has to end with its heroes killing a god. After playing through all 8 heroes' individual stories, their quests finally intertwine and reveal the true antagonist, an immortal witch called Lilac. She's been pulling strings from the very beginning, all to resurrect her father, Galdera the Fallen, aka the god of the accursed flame. Believing himself to be perfect, Galdera's god is to destroy everything, all humans, all gods, everything, and become the only living thing left in existence. Funnily enough, it's up to you to kill his new corporeal form and seal his soul back in the afterworld where it belongs. The fight is positively grueling and must be fought with 2 separate teams of 4, with the first team battling Galdera in the form of a pulsing mass of flesh and tortured souls, and the second taking on his true colossal draconic form. As such, all 8 heroes must be fully leveled and kitted out and teamed up appropriately if the player wants to get out of this encounter with their sanity intact. Galdera is a god after all. No one said it was going to be easy. Number 8, Final Fantasy IX. Go Kill God is a trope for a reason. It fulfills one heck of a power fantasy and shows just how far the player has come over the many hours of their journey. As such, expect to see a fair few JRPGs in this video. The problem with Final Fantasy IX is, for the majority of the game, you are led to believe the nihilistic Kuja is the main antagonist, not the secret all-powerful god lurking behind the scenes. It's a real bait and switch that can leave players reeling. For the past 40 to 50 hours, they have been hot on Kuja's heels, and when they finally catch up with and defeat him, they are faced with an even bigger threat, seemingly out of nowhere. The threat is the god of death and existential dread known as Necron. Despite his unsettling Dr. Manhattan crossed with a biblically accurate angel look, and the fact he is fought on the Hill of Despair, Necron is not truly evil. He only wants to destroy everything because he believes that's what people want him to do. Even so, he needs to die. Despite being a literal god, Necron is not the toughest encounter in the game, and can easily be brought down to size by canny players. So much for all-powerful, eh? Number 7, Bayonetta. Though it takes inspiration from Judeo-Christian beliefs, the world of Bayonetta, with its angels and demons, umbral witches and weaponized hair, is entirely its own. And oh boy, is it bizarre. It follows the tale of the titular Bayonetta as she kicks Angel butt in sleek, stylish, and over-the-top hack-and-slash action, and attempts to regain her lost memories along the way. At the end of the game, Father Boulder, a powerful Lumen sage and Bayonetta's actual father, resurrects the embodiment of divine will, a primordial god called Jubileus the Creator. Taking the form of an unfathomably large statue looming over the earth, one you obviously have to motorcycle up to reach the top, Jubileus almost resembles an archetypal angel, only one covered head to toe in gold. And of course, as with seemingly every other video game god, her goal is to destroy everything and create a new, better universe. Luckily, Bayonetta is on hand to put a stop to this, and quite spectacularly too. Summoning the infernal Queen Sheba, Bayonetta punches Jubileus so hard her soul flies out of her body and into the sun, killing her instantly before destroying the husk of her body as it falls down to earth. Hope she bought some aloe vera. Number 6, Breath of Fire 3. The Breath of Fire series is all about gods, true gods, false gods, and their battles between good and evil. With so many gods on the scene, it's only natural players get to converse with them, play as them, and yes, even kill them. In Breath of Fire 3, players once more step into the well-worn boots of Ryu, a warrior with the power to transform into a dragon, as he searches a vast and vivid fantasy world to uncover the mystery of his people. Along the way, he makes lifelong friends, battles evil, and gets caught up in the affairs of a giant snake goddess, your standard JRPG affair. This snake goddess is Miria, a deity of both desire and destruction, who takes the form of a winged woman with a serpent body. She sees humans as innately self-destructive and wishes to control them to save them from themselves, essentially robbing them of any free will. Whether or not you agree with this is up to you to decide, but the game is clear on which it thinks is the good option. Choose to disagree, and a boss battle ensues with Miria. While not the toughest fight in the game, she'll wipe the floor with anyone who comes unprepared. She's a god, after all. Why would she fight fair? Number 5, Elden Ring. Demigods to the left of me, demigods to the right, and here I am, stuck in the middle with more demigods. Anyone who's taken up the challenge of becoming Elden Lord knows the lands between are crawling with the almost divine, each of whom are more than capable of squashing you flat with a single attack. The lore and backstory of Elden Ring is a complex web of interconnected factions and family trees, with one mysterious figure standing at the centre of it all. Wishing for a world without death, Marika the Eternal removed the death rune from the world, but when Ranni stole it back and used it to kill Marika's firstborn, the God Queen went mad and shattered the Elden Ring, thus starting the events of the game. As a tarnished, it's up to the player to put things right, however they see fit. No matter which path they choose, it always ends with a fight to the death against Marika, or rather, Radagon, the male half of Marika. Told you it was complex, but that's not all. Fell this god and you immediately have to kill another, the Elden Beast, vessel of an outer god. Geez, if their vessels are this tough, you better thank your lucky stars you don't have to fight one of the outer gods themselves. Number 4, Fear and Hunger. Commonly referred to as the game that hates you, Fear and Hunger isn't messing about. It earned that reputation, and by golly, it's going to make sure you remember it. This RPG Maker survival game sees players picking a character from a choice of 4 and descending into the eponymous Dungeon of Fear and Hunger, at which point they will more than likely be clobbered to death by a guard and have to start again. For those that persevere, however, there is a brutally dark, depressing, yet surprisingly deep story to lose yourself in. A story of esoteric rituals, forgotten histories, lost cities, and of old and new gods that shape the world. One possible ending even allows players to create a brand new god, a god of fear and hunger no less. With so many gods floating around, it should come as no surprise that players might be asked to kill a few along the way. Many were once human, but upon reaching the heart of the dungeon, they ascended to godhood. Then, you come along and kill them. The gods Fear and Hunger allows players to kill include a golden-bodied conquistador, a flayed man, and a giant floating head. That's if you even get that far, and haven't given up after being killed by wolves for the 50th time. Number 3, Silent Hill. While psychological and psychosexual manifestations of its characters' innermost fears and desires are the order of the day in the fog-covered town of Silent Hill, gods also play an enormous part in its history and horrors. Gods and the clandestine cults seeking to rebirth them and cleanse the world. Seriously, what is it with gods trying to destroy/recreate the world? We haven't messed it up that badly, have we? The first game in the classic survival horror series has players step into the shoes of everyman Harry Mason as he searches the mist-bound streets and nightmarish otherworlds for his daughter Cheryl. Unfortunately for all involved, Cheryl is in the hands of the Sinister Order, who are planning to use her as a vessel to birth their satanic god. Even more unfortunately, Harry gets there too late and must witness as a bloody Baphomet-esque goat demon emerges from her back. With no other option, it's up to Harry to kill the newborn god and save the world. For a god, it's really not that tough a fight, and brilliantly, if you enter the final battle without any ammo, the fleshy fiend will simply lay down and die for you. Perhaps an even higher power is watching over you. Either that, or the developers decided to throw you a bone. Number 2, Asura's Wrath. God Killer, the game. Asura's Wrath is essentially one big boss rush, in which the player is given the motivation and the means to engage in fisticuffs with one god after another, until nothing but devastation lies in their wake. The story and gods of this wildly over-the-top action game may be based on Hindu and Buddhist mythology, but they are entirely made up, meaning no one's going to cry out in shock and anger when you punch one into space. The game follows the titular Asura, a demigod in his own right, on his unstoppable quest for vengeance against the gods who killed his wife and framed him for the murder of the Emperor. Despite wielding the power of the heavens, they are simply no match for a man who is literally too angry to die. These god-killing battles take the form of boss fights so spectacular they would put most anime shows to shame, and run the gamut between traditional one-on-one fistfights, button-mashing quick-time events in which both parties grow a dozen fists, and bullet hell shooters. One even has Asura going head-to-head with a god so enormous he dwarfs the planet. Or maybe that should be head to fingertip, as even that is bigger than most countries. Still, it's no match for sheer righteous anger. And number 1, God of War 3. How could God of War not appear in this video? The entire series revolves around one super angry bold guy and his quest to rid the world of meddling immortals. From his not-so-humble origins given Ares What For, to his slightly more measured, bolder neck-snapping escapades, Kratos is a one-man deity-destroying army. While he may have mellowed out a little in recent years, he can still bring the pain when necessary. But it's in God of War 3 that he is at his most destructive, frenzied, and just plain ticked off. This is a game in which Kratos, and by extension the player, doesn't kill a single god, but an entire pantheon, with extreme prejudice. A game for those who really want to put the high and mighty in their place, or perhaps want to take out a little stress after studying the Greek myths. It begins with Kratos gouging Poseidon's eyes out, from the tempestuous tyrant's POV no less, and does not let up there, with heads being ripped from shoulders, faces pummeled to mush, and much, much more. Of course, all this violence doesn't come without a cost. Without the gods to keep things in check, ancient Greece falls into chaos. All that anger and rage may not have been worth it, but it sure was fun.